Okay, there we go. Hi, everyone. I hope that you are having a beautiful weekend. Let me say good afternoon. It is Sunday. Happy Sunday, everyone. So there we go. Yeah, I wanted to jump on here to share with you how the art and craft fair went. I give more detail and more updates over on my Patreon and behind the scenes, but I wanted to come on YouTube and share with you just a very general um update on how it went. So firstly I'm going to say top of the right at the top. It was hot. The weather was hot. It wasn't even really that the temperatures were high. It was that the sun was right down on us, even though we were under tents. So that was number one. So that was very telling. And that's kind of, you take the risk when you do an outside art and craft fair if it's going to rain. And then it was a little windy on and off, and the wind wasn't even that much, but it blew the roof of it blew the roof off of my so I knew to bring duct tape, and I had duct tape, and I had to duct tape it about 4 times, and it wasn't even that windy. I couldn't believe it, and it came right through. So how is everyone doing out there today? Did anybody do an art and craft fair in their community? Are you getting out there doing art and craft fairs? Because I tell you what, it's a great way to meet the artists. So I knew, and I had said this a few times to you, the one thing that I was dreading was the tent. And because it's big, 10 by 10. I got it years ago at like Walmart. The few craft fairs I did with it, there were people there who were going around and they were setting up the tents, and that's what they did. So I kind of knew at this fair I'd be on my own a little bit. Um, I was lucky enough to have artists, and they were like me, they were ladies around my age, and they all helped me put that tent, and we struggled. Like, we did struggle because it was not going up easily. The springs were very tough. One of the bars snapped and was just kind of like hanging on. So that was the beginning of the day. And then we all just helped each other with that, putting the tents up, taking them down. So we were that camaraderie kind of was just right off the bat. It was just wonderful. And that's what I look for, are those connections. So then I I was setting up. I knew I didn't really have tons of surface space, but I did have a rack. And that rack, as you know, it was gifted to me by my son, and that rack worked beautifully. I was able to hang up all of my products, the the yo-yo quilts, the shawls, blankets, the Boro sashiko, all of it. I was able to hang it up. So that worked really well. Um, so I did bring, thank God I brought water and ice. I had a little cup like this cup actually. I put ice in it, and it's a thermal cup, and I got this at REI, and this held the ice beautifully. I mean, it was hot. And I took this out at about noon, and there was still ice and nice cold water in here. So that really got me through. Today I'm really, really tired, and but I'm relieved that we got through the show. Now, okay, so did people buy things? Uh, no. People really did not buy. They were not buying. At least for half a dozen of us in our area, we can all attest to that. Look, it could be a couple things. First of all, it was very, very hot. There were two other major events going on in Vermont. And to be reasonable, it is early in the season. So Halloween is, at the end of October. I made the Halloween items to be really focused on the people who love Halloween. Some people love it, they're looking for it, they live it literally all year. Those are the people I was looking for. However, okay, so of those of you who know Vermont, we're spread out. Okay. I mean, the whoopie pie, a friend of mine told me a whoopie pie event was going on over in Rutland. So from where I am here in Vermont, that's like 2 hour drive, two. So from up there, yeah, maybe 2.5. So it would be a long drive, right? Then the other thing that was going on here in Vermont, or is the Tunbridge Fair. So a lot of people know the Tunbridge Fair, like everybody knows the Tunbridge Fair because it's gone on so many years, right? So there could have been, I understood the first day was yesterday. So it could have been people were there. So, and I didn't realize they started that early this year. I thought it was later on. Now, what happens when we get to November for the art and crafters, the nice thing that happens is people go craft hopping, you know? They know, like, these 5 churches in a row are having an art and craft, and they go and they have their money or their card. Now, the other thing that happened, and I didn't even put this on behind the scenes on Patreon. I kind of talk about different things going on and update. But the one thing that seems to be big nowadays is the Square little chip reader. So I had gotten it in the mail and very quickly lost it somewhere in the car or in the house. It's between those two places. I haven't found it. But the other artisans also lost their chip reader. The reason this gets lost so quickly is it's very, very small and very light. So, and flat. So, it can end up in a corner, in the garbage, wherever. I mean, and you just don't see it. So, yeah, so the that I don't know if that made a huge difference on sales or not, but I do think the other things were real factors. The heat, the other events, and the time of the season. So I think those were three main things that could have affected it. Having done art and craft fairs for so long, the remedy for them is they've got to be really close to holidays, right? um and then themed around those holidays, like your items, if they can find items themed around, like Christmas, is you have a little more diversity because people are looking for gifts. So they may buy a painting that they know their loved one loves art, so they may buy a painting art. If you're around Halloween, they may be looking more for, yes, and Thanksgiving for the pumpkins, which is why I had a number of pumpkins. And I did the Halloween themed yo-yo quilt. Hopefully I finish my sentences today because I'm wiped out. I'll tell you what. Um, yeah, the yo-yo. So this is the response that I got. I'll tell you what people like. And over on Patreon, I go a little bit more into the logistics of my condition at the end of the day and what that evening looked like. But here's a couple things. People loved my Boro Sashiko. They loved it. They loved the hat. They loved the keychains. They loved the coin bags. They did love the yo-yo quilts. Some people did not know what they were. And other people were like, oh, yeah, my grandmother made that. So the yo-yo quilts were from one extreme to another. Some people just didn't know. And they liked them. So, but they were like, well, what do you use it for? That really cracked me up. It really did because I'm thinking, well, really whatever you want, right? But I was thinking when I made them, I said, for a chair blanket, a little lap quilt, or you could use it as a centerpiece for your table, and or you could put it on the wall. And a few of them, that's kind of, and they said that's what I was thinking, that it looked like a wall piece. So that got me thinking a little bit. I have so many, like under this table, I have so many frames. I could frame a few of these, I don't know, just because they are pretty, or maybe not frame them and just make sure I have a little dap, like do just a little one with tiny little. So I'm going to write that down right now. We'll do tiny yo-yos, and we're going to do with the idea of designing them kind of like an artsy piece. Okay. Now, I didn't bring any of my paintings or my drawings, and I took out my bin out here. I took it out and I took out my books, and I'm like, should I bring my artwork? And the one thing that bothered me, there were a couple things bothering me. I'm like, if it rains, because in Vermont, the weather can, like anywhere, it can change on a dime. I'm like, if it rains, my art pieces are ruined, even though they're in plastic, the dampness and everything. And that would just drive me insane if I lost my artwork. And the other thing is the wind, I thought if someone's looking at it, a piece could get flown across the field, and then it would be wrinkled and ruined and like that. And that kind of like, so I'm like, well, these pieces, if I show them, I think I need to get them in frames, and then I'll feel better about showing them. So I'm going to try to get some of them in frames over the next few months, and maybe do some more drawings or paintings along the way, with the idea, if I can get them framed easily, maybe I can start showing, because nobody knows that I draw on paint. They don't know because I don't show it. And I don't show it, I think, because I'm very attached to them. Anyway, the art and crafts, it just seems a little easier to show and to bring out there and sell. So yeah, so it was the Boro Sashiko and the yo-yo quilts seemed to make an impression. Now, the other thing I noticed is the lip balm holders, the crocheted. Okay, so the crochet stuff, let me tell you right now, in Vermont anyway, we're a little bit like New York, only on the countryside. There are so many artists in Vermont. Many, many, many artists. And so I think a lot of the crowd that were there were also artists, actually. But a lot of people crochet already. They crochet and they knit. So the crochet items weren't as impressive, but the lip balm holders were. People were looking at them. So the next fair, I'll definitely include those. But So, and then I just had so many things, there was just no way I could showcase all of them. So then our coin bags were very popular too. People really liked the coin bags. So, and the key is what I was explaining to people. The key is we're working with scrap. We're working with recycled materials, supplies, fabrics. This is the key. And nowadays, the yarn, it's recycled. You're going to find 100% recycled yarn out there on the shelves. So that was something I was definitely um, sharing as I was connecting with people. I wanted to connect that message that, especially like the Halloween quilt. I mean, that's gorgeous. That looks like it's all brand new and it's not. It's all scrap. And it's even parts of a dresses. So, you wouldn't know it by looking at it. You would think that those were all pieces just specifically laid out for a Halloween theme and they were scouted instead of, picked necessary, you know. So this coffee I'm drinking, this is hazelnut. It is delicious. It's a perfect time of day to have coffee. But yeah, over on Patreon. So I want to update you on this because this is brand new. And I'm going to talk a little bit more about it tomorrow on the update of Patreon. So Patreon, it is a hub where we can talk really fluently, like in real time to each other and we can show our art pieces. So that's why I have the platform. Now, they just came out with something where if someone is just curious and wants to see, for example, what I'm saying behind the scene video, because at behind the scenes, I go a little bit more into my personal, really behind the scenes projects I'm working on and what I'm doing. So the members get to know kind of a little bit more about my art world, my human condition, you might say, um, like that. So, but Patreon just came up with um, an opportunity where you can buy a post, like buy the post, so you can see it and listen to it, as opposed if you don't want to be a member. So that's out there. I did click on it and it had a minimum price, so I just put the minimum whatever it was, and I want to see if it's posted. If you see that, please share with me what you're seeing because I'm not able to, I don't see anything yet. So anyway, I wanted to invite you to check out that Patreon. It's the same name as my YouTube, Echo Art with Carmella-T. So, yeah, so I am absolutely exhausted. I will rethink if I do another outdoorsy craft. Now, if they have the tents and the tables, I might do a craft show that way. But I think I'm going to focus more on the inside only because it's just physically easier. Let's put it that way for me. And then guess what? You don't have to worry about the rain. You don't have to worry about the wind, and you don't have to worry about the heat. You really don't. These are major factors. They're factors in selling, and they're factors in buying. So that's how the art and craft fair went in general. And so okay, this week. Now somebody asked over on TikTok no, she asked she's not familiar with the yo-yo quilt. So she goes, how did you like get those circles? How did you do that? And this and that. So I will be, if not tomorrow, and it might be tomorrow because Well, tomorrow I'm gonna go live. I plan to, let's put it this way. Well, I probably will go live on TikTok with the yo-yo quilt project because someone specifically asked. So I want to do a video for her and answer her questions because she's interested in it. She never saw a yo-yo quilt before. So I just love questions like that. And I love to introduce people to the new craft, and maybe it becomes their passion, you know? Look, I mean, there's artists out there who will come up with some ideas that you and I, we won't think of, and they'll have this as a passion. And now we have a new artist in the community. So I'll probably do that tomorrow on TikTok. But the other thing I'm trying to do on TikTok, and I'm just not familiar with it, and I hope I can just start this tomorrow, is what they call a series. And someone on TikTok has asked me specifically, please, can you start reading your book? Now, some authors are afraid to read their books. They don't want to read their books. They don't want to share their books. Well, guess what? When you write a book, it is copywritten. You have an ISBN. It is published. It is your intellectual property. It's yours. No fear to read your book and share it. So, what I'm going to do is read it. And I do want to get an audio of that book out there. That's my next one of my projects. But I want to read it on TikTok in what they call a series so you can follow it. And this way, too, I can talk to you from the perspective of myself as an author, writing it and what I was thinking as I wrote this. So I would like to share these different things. So that will be this week, and I'm hoping tomorrow. Hi, how are you? I hope everyone's doing well today out there, having a beautiful Sunday, working on your art projects. Now someone has asked me, there was something else someone wanted to ask me, but we will be, there was another project, but we will be revisiting our Silky Silk Sashiko stitching project this week. We'll be finishing up our bear this week, and we'll be doing our next yo-yo project because back here, if you notice behind me, okay, there's a few things different. There's my pencils over here, my crochet hooks, all of my plastic, not all, but my plastic bins. And there's my coin bags. And you see all the threads are now on the top shelf. So all of those were down here. There's the junk journals. So guess what? I have started organizing my fabrics. And I'm going to share with you, if not tomorrow morning, how far I've gotten today in folding them and making them nice and neat so you can see. Because guess what? I'm getting ready to go to the thrift shop again tomorrow morning. And I'll bring you with me. I mean, I'll share with you what I get there. But you can see right behind me, no, it's right here. There's a bin of still my crochet and fabrics. Look, there's yo-yos. So we still have so many projects to go. But let me know if there's a specific project that you're working on or you'd like us to do, because I got to tell you, it's like so far you've seen, yes, the Boro Sashiko inspired, which is my passion, and I totally want to keep doing those. I have to keep doing those. I just want to do some of the smaller ones like the key fobs because people were really interested in those, and the coin bags. So we're going to make sure we do those because guess what? While I was out there at the tent selling, trying to sell or sell it, very little went. But inside the guild, one of my coin bags was sold. I guess it was the other day, but it was like the day before the fair. So one of those went. So I have to get more coin bags done. And so this is, I'm just going to show you the coin bags that are now becoming popular. So this one, okay. So you see the keychain here, the little clip. I put a little, just for the fun of it, a little Halloween skeleton thingy. I used the ribbon that was gifted to me, as you all know, by a friend of mine. Huge box, it's right here, of ribbon. And that's what this ribbon is. Now, the piece that sold also had a little ribbon on it, but it was on the keychain. But it had a keychain little loop on it. Now, when you do these keychain loops, we should probably do a video on this all together, but you want to make sure the loop is between your fabrics before you start sewing everything together. Now, I have put some of these loops on with the keychain material on the outside. It's just an aesthetic. I like it. But no, most of them are like this. They're between the fabrics. So this is the type of coin bag that people were looking at. Functional. It can hold your coins. It can hold your keys, whatever, like that. Plus it has a snap. So these are something you're going to see me working a lot on between now and November, right? So those will be going. I was thinking of this size to, well, this size. This is not too much bigger. As long as I stay, this one is not done, but look, as long as I stay like keeping them small, but this is not done. Okay. This is just something I'm still working on. That's another coin bag. And it has a little heart, which is my signature. We all love hearts, right? But look at the size of this one. This is small, and I made this a long time ago. And I was thinking I could make some smaller ones like this with the little keychain too. So those are the type of things that we're going to be focusing on. And I will just simply bring you along with me when I do those. Now, this is something I threw together. I just wanted to kind of test it. I didn't bring anything like this to the art and craft fair, but I wanted to test it and just see what this looks like, and does it really make sense going around the wrist like that, and then you put your key and little keychain there. I don't know. So I have to think about this. This comes off very easily. It's just a little snap, and but that's crocheted. But this is not yarn. This is hemp yarn. That's what this is. It's a hemp yarn. So anyway, those type of things I'm looking at. And with that, I just wanted to jump on here and update you, and hope that everyone is having a beautiful Sunday. And if you have any questions, or there's something you're thinking we should look into, because remember, we're out there to create different things with scrap fabrics, organics, and recycled materials. So I right now am in that frame of mind where I'm looking for new things to work on. So you never know. If I find something new or think of it, I'll bring you along with me. So with that, you have an absolutely beautiful day.